Beside me is my 3-foot riverscape that I absolutely love. Behind me is the filter that's filtering it. On the right hand side is where the filter outlet is, and there's not any movement over there anymore. So either the filter died or it's time to clean it. Now you may think that I'm making this up, but the filter behind me has not been cleaned in well over a year. The last time that there was a big maintenance session on this aquarium was 7 months ago when I did a big maintenance series. I rewatched that video and I didn't clean the filter then. So now I have no idea what the bioload is going to be in the filter, but with no flow, I'm thinking it's going to be pretty grimy. And because the viewing statistics show you guys love to see grimy aquariums get cleaned, that's what you're going to see in this video. Let's show you the tank real quick, just a little snippet I'm going to do, and then we'll get into the dirty work. Now, if you're not familiar with this aquarium, it is a Hygger Aquatics 3-foot aquarium, or 36 inches long by 12 inches deep, 12 inches tall. So 3 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot. And I absolutely love this immersed style that we have. What makes this tank special is that these plants you see here, minus the cardinal plant, these are just yard weeds, things that I found in my backyard here in Florida. Moving over here, this is mondo grass that I got from the local hardware store. And then somewhere in here is another yard weed poking out the back here. But this little running weed that's sitting on top of that rock, it's actually just going underwater and growing kind of as an aquatic plant. So you can see it right here. That's just a yard weed. So this tank's kind of special to me because it was an experiment that I did that ended up working out fantastic. It doesn't need too much maintenance. It has slow growing anubias in here. The S. repens grows the fastest, which is the only thing I'm doing for trimming here is just taking the tops off of this bundle. And then over here, I want it to be nice and short like this one over here. So as you can see, not a lot of algae on here. White cloud mountain minnows, we don't feed them too heavily. And there's a mystery snail in there as well as 2 hillstream loaches. And I think at night the loaches kind of scurry around and they keep it pretty clean. Also, I guess with the filter not being maintained, the water is just perfect crystal clear. We have enough beneficial bacteria on all of these surfaces that I'm not worried about cleaning the filter. So let's just move over to the filter. So here we have the Fluval 307 that is filtering the aquarium, and it's still on and running, but we don't have any flow. If we come over here, this is where the flow normally comes out, and as you can see, very, very mild rippling that's not even being picked up on the camera. So let's just crack it open and get it clean, huh? All right, we've got it unplugged. Close the valve here. Pop this top off. It's what I do love about the Fluval canisters here, the 7 series, is they're really easy to do maintenance on. If you're not cleaning the hoses, that is. Hose setup isn't really my favorite, but it gets the job done. And that quick disconnect really makes this easy to clean. And here we are at the kitchen sink because the best place to clean a dirty aquarium filter is where you prepare food. So let's see what we got going on in here. We can see the bottom of the filter housing here, or the pump housing, pretty clean. It's kind of what I expect for an aquarium that's been set up for that long, is that the beneficial bacteria and the ecosystem is just settled in nicely, and the water reflects that. Now we're going to have probably just manual debris is what is clogging this up. So let's pull out the pre-filters, or the first stage of filtration, these sponges here. And we can see that that is not going to be the issue. I'll give them a quick rinse, but these are pretty healthy. Popping the top off of the first chamber here. And I think where the issue is going to be in this filter is the filter floss that is in one of these trays. So we'll get the tray out over here and we'll take a good look at it. Okay, I'm going to start just by rinsing this off so I can get it out of the way. Little kitchen sprayer is really nice for this. And I'm not going to scrub these, I'm just rinsing things off. Now that I got those 2 things out of the way, let's take a look at the pre-filter sponges, or I call them the pre-filter sponges, but they're just the first stage of filtration. While we're looking at these sponges, let's talk about the most controversial topic in fish keeping, and that is beneficial bacteria. You will notice I'm using tap water here, and I'm going to use tap water to just kind of rinse the sponge out and see. Not too bad. But there's a big argument about whether tap water kills all of your bacteria. I'll keep this very simple. On a video, I don't even remember whether it was mine or somebody else's, a marine biologist, I believe it was, chimed in and said that normal chlorine concentrations in tap water will take 30 minutes to destroy the bacterial colony. It is a slow acting way that water treatment plants kind of keep the water clean and healthy for you guys if you drink tap water. But it's not violent that's just going to kill all the bacteria. So that's where I'm going to leave this argument. You kind of do with that what you will. Here is the back of the sponge, which is like stage 2 of filtration. Just a little bit of debris, but not too much. What I like to do, by the way, this is cool water. I am not on hot. So hot water, yes, you would probably kill your bacteria. But I'm going to turn the power up a little bit, and I use the sprayer, and it does a pretty good job at cleaning that stuff out. So let me get the other sponge here cleaned out. Okay, that one's done. Let's do the final one here. Not too dirty, what you would expect. Okay, let's dig into these trays here. There is a SeaChem Purigen packet in here that helps me keep the water clear. We'll probably put a new packet in there. The first tray is our biological media here. Same thing, I'm just gonna move this to this sink. Can you see that? There we go, now we got you over here. And I'm just gonna rinse it. I'm not soaking it or anything like that. I'm just rinsing some of the little detritus off of the top there. Rinse the tray around here. Hit it from the bottom a little bit. That's it for that one. There we go. The next tray here is where I think the issue is going to be, or both of these trays now that I look at it, and that is the filter floss. So this tray just has filter floss in it. Actually, it doesn't look that bad, all things considered. I expected this to just be completely black and, you know, brown, slimy, that kind of stuff. This actually looks really good. I'm surprised. So I don't know where the clog was here. Maybe it was having trouble getting through the filter floss, but there's that. Rinse that tray off. Maybe this is the issue, the final bottom tray. So let's take a look at this tray. Still not that bad. I don't understand why the flow was down. Maybe the impeller's going to kaput. I don't know. That doesn't look bad at all. But we're going to change it out because we're here anyway. This is the fine sponge that comes with the Fluval. And let's take a look at this, rinsing it and see what's going on. I mean, really nothing. If you look at the color of the water, there's just nothing wrong with this sponge at all. Very, very lightly tinted when I squeeze it out. This is turning out to be pretty mundane and not satisfying at all for you filter freaks out there that love to watch dirty filters get cleaned. I'm not giving you the content that you were expecting, but I don't control what the filter looks like inside. I can only make a video documenting it. All right, I am going to change out the filter floss just to be on the safe side. So I got my bottom tray here, and all I'm going to do is just kind of tear a piece of this off. I'll put a link to the filter floss that I use down in the description. I think it's a good value. You get a big roll of it. Lasts me quite a long time. And it's pretty easy. You can cut it or just tear it and use it in all of your aquariums. All right, we got that tray done. That's how that goes there. Next tray on top. And same thing, I'm just going to tear some filter floss here. Keep it fairly loose, tear this in half, just kind of fold it over and stick it in there. That's all I do there. Drop that back on top with our biological media. And before I put this lid on, I am going to make a new Purigen packet just because I do like to have Purigen in my aquariums. Keeps that water crystal clear. All right, got my new Purigen packet here. I set it on the opposite side of the outlet here. And I use these little mesh, what are they called? Like little jewelry bags. You can use whatever you want. You can buy mesh bags specifically for filtration in aquariums, but found these little mesh bags they're perfectly fine. And you get like 1,000 of them for very cheap. I'll put a link in the description if I can find them on Amazon or a similar product, and also a link to Purigen. So if you want to help support the channel, that's a good way to do it, is go shop on Amazon and I get my little credit from them back. I think we need to examine the impeller next here. I just want to make sure that there's nothing obstructing the impeller. So we'll pop this cover off here. Looks really good. A quick rinse under the faucet. We'll pull the impeller out. Looks to be fine. I don't see any issue there. Rinse the housing out. Put the impeller back in. And I'm just going to do a quick plug in here just to see that it's spinning. Yep, I don't see any issue there. So let's put it all back together, get it back on the aquarium, and see if we got flow again. Okay, I think I found the culprit of our flow issue. This filter didn't even need to be cleaned, but if we go back here and we look at the screen on the inlet, or the intake, it looks pretty gummed up right there, especially up at the top. I don't know what kind of fuzzy growth we got on there, so I'm going to pull that out, clean it, then we'll start this bad boy up. Oh yeah, look at that. Disgusting. And now it's nice and clean. All right, before we fire it back up, just some quick maintenance here. You can see the tripartita kind of goes everywhere, as tripartita likes to do. So I'm not going to remove any of it. What I do is I just kind of pull it back. You can see how far it's grown. It's gone all the way around the side over here. But just pushing it over here a little bit, the Java moss, no, this is weeping moss, kind of came out from its area. I'll save this and put it back somewhere. I like to have a little moss in the tank. Seems to filter the water nicely. And we'll just take this tripartita, which is stretching all the way back there. And I like to just jam it into the corner over here. There's a piece of S. repens over on this side here that I don't really want there. So we'll go ahead and pull a little bit of that out. We have enough S. repens right here in the front that I like. We don't need it growing towards the back. All right, that looks pretty good right there. Snip this piece off down low. We've got some tripartita over here that's grown immersed, but it's kind of dying a little bit. So for the plant health, I'll just snap that part off. And if it wants to continue growing immersed, it can do that. And I'm just going to tuck this weeping moss kind of up under this piece of anubias here. The water flow will keep it there, and it shouldn't float around and spread all over the aquarium. It'll just kind of sit up on that rock and do mossy stuff. Moving over to the right corner here, just going to go down here and break off this S. repens kind of low. I like to pinch it with my fingers because usually ends up a lot of leaves get cut if I use scissors, and it can be a mess to clean it off the surface of the water. But this will also restrict our flow in the aquarium if it gets too big. So I'm going to finish snipping all this off. It's kind of boring to watch. Then we'll fire up that filter. All right, let's get the hose back on here and prime it up. There we go. All right, I have filled the aquarium up with water as well, because when you prime a big filter, it takes some water out. Let's go ahead and fire it up. I will leave you guys on the tank view. A little bit of debris has blown out, but that's all right. Normally happens. I forgot to put my net over there. Pro tip for you, if you clean your filter but not the pipes, and you don't want all of this kind of, I don't know, crud to come back out when you restart the filter, just put a net over the end. The minnows seem to be happy. They're enjoying the flow again. They love to kind of go back up here. I think now you can kind of see how much flow we have as those little leaves are blowing around. Pretty powerful filter for this small of an aquarium. And mountain minnows, well, they're little stream fish, so they love the flow. They look like they're trying to figure out if that's food. Probably doesn't taste too good, guys. But anyway, we got our flow back, and we figured out that the filter didn't need to be cleaned. So there's that. This is by far my favorite aquarium that I have right now. I love the combination of immersed growth and submerged growth. Now that I've kind of cleared it up in the back a little bit, it looks more scaped. And I don't know. Leave your comments. What do you think about this scape? Is it too plain for you? Just right? Or too much? Well, sorry that was kind of a letdown for those that love to see the filters be extremely dirty. I really thought it was going to be dirty. Didn't even think to check the inlet. But on a positive note, it's nice to see that a filter running that long is that well balanced, and the bioload and the amount of plants and whatever must be just perfect, that I could have run that filter for probably another year. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to try and run it until I know that it's not running anymore. That makes sense? You know what I mean. So with that being said, hopefully you got some enjoyment out of the video. Hopefully it entertained you a little bit. If you'd like to support the channel so I can build more aquariums and maybe put more fish in it to get a dirtier filter for you guys to see, a couple of ways you can do that. One, you watch this video, so thanks for that. Two, you can hit the buttons down below, the likes and subscribes and all of that YouTuber stuff. If you want to get something in return, go to ssaquascapes.com. You can jump on there and buy some of the plants that I have in my multitude of aquariums. So browse around over there if you got some free time. Do appreciate your support. I'll try and think of some other content that's more enjoyable than this one, and I'll catch you on that video.